doing what is asked to be done. I'm just excited to see his future.
Well, his future will be on Dragonshire immediately, because that's where we're going for Game 2. It is a favored battleground for both of these teams. We've seen both of them pick it in Phase 2, but Tempo Storm is the one picking it here as LFM wants first pick. Talking about Dragonshire for both of them, LFM likes to get their solo laner very early in the draft. We know how important the solo lane is for Dragonshire. They like a little bit of Urel here, Dahaka for Swabs. In general, Swabs feels like one of the most impactful players on LFM. He has been doing amazingly this whole phase.
The Dahaka, he's made the place on Dahaka, but he's starting to round into form, and that was the thing that we saw in Phase 1. It was, yes, we know your name from Dahaka plays. I saw it in Open Division. That's where he made his name. He comes in Week 1 of this year and hits the huge Contagion on Infernal, which goes down as probably the best play he's made in HGC, and it's still memorable. But it's a matter of he's got to develop that hero pool, and he's starting to do that. I think Urel makes it a little bit easier for a lot of players right now in the solo lane. So I do consider Urel to be highly contested here, but Dahaka on this battleground will be a point of interest, I think, on both sides if Urel's not allowed for your team.
Yeah, I think Dahaka was one of the most contested heroes when looking at these two teams going head-to-head. The top picked hero for Swabs, but then second most picked hero for Glaurung. But now Urel changes a lot of that, especially since we have now seen Glaurung play Urel. And for Tempo Storm, they have a much different approach to maps like Dragonshire, like Tomb the Spider Queen. This is where that Maiev that you talked about before, Jehao, could come back in. Maiev with a big damage dealing hero like Li Ming behind it.
I do wonder where Jaina's going to fall, because both these teams will play the Jaina. As you said, Vicky plays a lot of mages right now, and Jaina is kind of that special that we see for that wave clear hero, something that Tempo started to pick up on. But even Thrall, and that's the thing, is that Fan would always kind of be that Thrall player. We're actually going to see Dahaka denied here, which might lead to a first pick Urel. But Thrall was kind of the Tempo style. Before other teams started to run it, we saw it start to spring up at MSB, where Tempo Storm, they were the ones saying, hey, what if we just use Thrall mid lane to rotate between that top bottom and try and figure out where you can find the picks, and then it contributes to the team fight. Then Volskaya started to happen, and a lot of teams picked up on it from Tempo Storm, and it started on this battleground.
If Tempo want Genji here, would they be willing to leave it up, knowing now that, no, they're not. They'll take it away. Droplets has shown quite a lot of Genji play before, but this does open up the possibility now that LFM get Urel here. Anything else, if not that you think trumps the importance of that, given that
Johanna.
We've seen the Dahaka, yeah? For LFM though?
There is no doubt that Cattle will, I mean, there's a chance he might go Muradin, but there's probably no doubt that he will just snap lock in a Johanna. Especially because it's Dragonshire.
Yeah, I feel like that Johanna is a core crux of why Tempo Storm can pick those aggressive comps, because she has the wave clear to back it up, so they can Maiev Li Ming or Maiev Genji, as they've done twice now in Dragonshire.
I mean, Johanna's just such a beast now. Like, almost unkillable.
You know who's very happy to hear you say that? Heku.
Johanna. I mean, Johanna's win rate in Phase 1 in league play was somewhere in the mid-30s. I think it's close to like 60+% right now. Like, oh no, 50% globally, but in NA, it's really high. The rest of the world is still trying to keep up with the North American meta.
She's a little bit higher than 100%, but her pick rate is insane. A lot of teams respecting the Johanna. And there she is with the Phoenix.
There's no doubt about it. There's no way they let that through. And again, if you're going to pick Johanna and you're on the side of LFM, if you're going to pick Jaina, Johanna's like, that's cool. I'm walking away from it. I'm literally, like, no other tank can really do it. You have to use your form of mobility with a Dwarf Toss or something or the other. Johanna can press Iron Skin whenever is needed. There's no threat. Oh, you want a full engage? Now I'll press Iron Skin. There's no real threat, and I think that's the thing, is like, Jaina is appealing, but against the Johanna, not as much.
LFM has felt very comfortable leaving their primary warrior till the later stages of the draft. It's Fury. He's flexible. He plays every tank. He'd be willing to bring back an Arthas if he felt like it fit the composition. So he's okay here, which means then, yes, if Figgy wants his Jaina, this might be the place to do it. Otherwise, it'll possibly be banned. No, they will leave it though.
Well, Malfurion does give you the option. Obviously, Innervate works really well with mage-style players. I mean, overall, in general, Innervate is good, but we could potentially see that Leeming down the road. And it's something that LFM will be more than comfortable with playing. I think that you do lack wave clear. If you don't get Jaina and it's maybe banned out here or picked up even, it's going to be banned out. So now Phoenix and Jaina have generally been the best two wave clear heroes. A team like Tempo Storm will clear a wave and then find some way to abuse you on the rest of the map. And there's no avoiding it. And I think that you need wave clear because they love to double up camps. They love to force rotations. Jaina was one of those big ones.
Well, LFM have not been a stranger to Gul'dan, especially when playing versus a Phoenix, trying to horrify him out of warp so that they can get the kill on him. But the scary thing is he's Gul'dan, he's stationary. When we saw him last time he played, it was versus Endemic. He stepped forward trying to get the Horrify on a Phoenix warping out and just made himself more than vulnerable to a Sonya. It's a scary world to be a Gul'dan, but he would be able to give the wave clear. It's a combo that works with Malfurion, and maybe that's where LFM's gonna go with that.
Deckard being banned out, we know is June made several plays there. I'm just feeling a Falstad and a Leeming is going to be the final two, but more importantly, Tempo Storm. The solo laner, we've seen a lot of Blaze. Dahaka already banned out. Sonya, we still could get a little bit of that, but again, if they want to go melee heavy, it seems like Blaze would be the option with the Thrall. I don't think we'd see Sonya and Thrall. There's a possibility. It's Tempo Storm. They can run just about anything. But if they did want to rotate that Thrall, you have the clear between the mid bot with Phoenix, so there's not a huge priority to have the Thrall. It's just a matter of playstyle at that point.
I think it'll be Stitches. Or not Stitches, Blaze.
Whoa! Like they did play that on 2.
I know, and I read it.
And I'm like...
But no, I think it'll be Blaze, especially if... Wow.
I think that is, 1, a play for themselves, but 2, the denial. I really do.
Oh yeah. But where I thought the Blaze was going to come in is to have a bunker. You have so many different ways of surviving a Chromie, because Chromie was still a possible option for LFM.
Cleanse now.
But there's cleanse, exactly. So either way, they have a way of, if Chromie is still there, then it's got to be a slowing sands versus what is so scary, the temporal loop.
Well, the Falstad Leeming that I anticipated is impossible now. Leeming, I think, is definitely something they have to consider. The Gul'dan, I'm not sure how I'd feel about that. I mean, I'm just trying to dig deep in the hero pools of LFM, and you know, we've yet to really see much beyond those styles.
Hanzo is still up.
That is true, surprisingly enough. But
thinking about a droplets hero.
2 Hanzo games thus far. Hanzo Leeming, if you're just looking to keep it super standard and meta.
There they are. Blaze still up now if they want to bunker to stop not a Chromie temporal loop, but a Leeming from being able to get resets. And they have Gust for that too. There's a lot of fail-safes for Tempo.
I'm just trying to think outside. I mean, it seems like Blaze. But is there anything outside of the box that we can anticipate? Nope.
Negative. I don't know, like Malthael with On a Pale Horse, then you've got these dual horse talents being a thing. Is good.
Divine Steed on a Pale Horse. You know, Jimmy's got movement speed at 13 now. While mounted as well. 10%. Don't remember the name of it yet.
Not now in HGC.
Next week.
Next week in HGC, but now online.
I'll commit it to memory by the time next week comes. Because it's NA and we like our mobility on our heroes.
There's a lot more coming in next week than just some reworks. So those reworks are going to be lit.
I mean, Asmodean, somebody will play Asmodean. I guarantee it. First off, Jimmy
will play Asmodean.
Jimmy will 100% be played. Asmodean, I think somebody will be like, yeah, why not?
Surely he's known for it. That's all I'm saying.
Have you played Asmo?
I haven't. I've played quite a bit of Jimmy.
I played Asmo like right out of the gate. Like the minute the patch went live, my very first game was Asmo, and I love it. Like I absolutely.
You're giving him the pepper.
Oh, Asmo though, Asmo.
Oh yeah.
Asmo to me is so much more fun.
You would.
And I love me a Jimmy rework.
You're giving him the pepper. You were giving him the pepper with Asmo too. It's just more of like a spicy, you know?
Yeah, it's like the pool is actually like soup, and all the black swirly stuff is the pepper, because I put a lot in there.
Yeah, if there's one thing I know about you, it's how much you love spicy food.
Or the lack that pepper is spicy to me. Don't torture me.
Making our way into the mid lane for the beginning of Dragonshire. What's up?
We got some talent changes here. No mobility.
Wait a second.
NA loves their mobility with the movement speed on mouth, but Aware's changing it up, Gilly.
Ooh. Well, with Celestial Alignment, increases the reveal duration, but also increases damage against heroes revealed by Moonfire. It's basic attack damage, that is.
Time to go Battle Owl. I mean, we've got quite a bit of action. Nice roots actually go down there. Glaurung's going to use the jet propulsion to safety.
Yeah, speaking of Glaurung, in the bottom lane.
Yes, seems normal.
Yep, we see Phoenix up in the top lane against Urel for a second time today.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Phoenix is one of the best solo laners. And then you think, all right, well, do we need this? Again, there's no Dehaka, so no global here to take control of this. There was the rotation down by Urel just in case. But Phoenix is one of the best solo laners in the game, because even if he takes damage, it's probably to his shields and not actual damage. And he has significant clear compared to Urel. So it is a hero that I anticipate we will continue to see these styles of rotations. Glaurung's going to be first blood here.
Nice roots from Aware to capture him. He had another really good one that slowed down the capture of the point. Fan's going to fly to the top to help out Vin here and put some damage towards Swabs. And as I mentioned before, Tempo Storm putting a lot of respect toward Vin, enough so that he is being asked to solo lane versus Swabs on that Phoenix.
I mean, I think that for people coming into HGC, or I think if you ask anybody, all roles are going to be difficult, but I think understanding how to play and win a solo lane is probably more difficult than people probably expect. Your lane presence has to be very high. And I think that there's a lot of people playing it and seeing it as one thing, experiencing it as another. I think the solo lane is very difficult for a lot of players coming in, so that is a lot of respect towards Vin to be able to hold that down. He's been able to trade control of that shrine. They're actually sending Falstad up as well. We'll see how well Swabs knows how to hold this lane, as he's been in the role for quite some time.
Fan gets in, gets the lightning rod going. We're seeing Fury show up too. Now Vin, on the opposite side of both of them, gets hit by the Avenging Wrath. Fury slams him to the ground to get another kill for LFM. They have both of these shrines. Johanna doing her best to stall June, wants to get the channel here. They finally have the bruisers, but because those bruisers were picked up and that pick, LFM walks away with the first Dragon Knight of the game.
Like I said, it's not easy, and that was, you know, those moments. That's a learning experience for Vin, because it's like, look, we've got a two-man gank. I can warp over and get this. But again, the lane presence to know that gank is coming. But you got to credit LFM. Perfectly executed by them to make that happen. They are going to have to deal with this camp here on the top. They have the DK trying to push mid. They'll likely just trade out walls here. It's just a matter of how much more they get with that DK.
Well, we see the bottom lane here, even Aware and Hanzo trying to put in some damage toward the towers. Just to stay even, get a lead, ideally, from that split push. But for LFM, it was a little bit unfortunate that they had to defend versus such a strong push. Now Fan's going to be left in the top, and Vin can join up with the rest of the group. Because he has Boomerang now, he becomes the solo laner for them, and Vin can stick with the rest of the team.
Nicely timed Condemn, but Iron Skin was already used, and now Cattle in a world of trouble. Totem going down, keeping a little bit of time, but Swabs and Fury leap buddies as they are wrecking right now. 4 kills to 0. They're also going to walk in. They're taking this siege camp. LFM, another early game aggressive team.
Look at Glaurung. Proxied this wave so that the minions could take out the well and get onto the fort here. Now Fan's gonna show up and be able to put some fort damage in too. That was a nice play, considering the fact that, like you had just said, LFM has been deathballing to get some early game kills. They get a few, but like in the last game, they got a few there too. LFM needs to be working on the ability to use that to get a further lead in macro or transition to something else. Keep the kills going throughout all levels of the game.
I think one of the best things, though, for them is they don't have a Hammer and a Hanzo racing down an objective from a mile away. It makes
Fair
it a lot
point.
easier. So, I mean, this is, you have better chances, I think, of taking the more impactful team fights as we've seen already in Tempo Storm. Of course, we know they love the camps. So they're going to pick up the bruisers here on the bottom. Fan going to eat a hammer. And a little bit of a thunderclap action as we're going to have LFM trying to defend.
The cleanse from June. Used to saying Nature's Cure from him, but he's on Rhaegar this time. That was a full cleanse.
Now camp of their own here for LFM, who is rounding the corner. We'll have 10 here in just a moment as they've got that locked in. Swab's doing a very good job making sure to get a little bit of value out of that. Everything pretty standard so far. Still waiting to see. We've seen some haymaker action.
Yeah, I
don't know how I feel about it in this instance.
I agree with you. But at the same time, there is a giant killer possibility from Falstad. At 16, there's some similar % damage from a Phoenix available. He'll go ahead and move into an Avatar, just give him some extra health, some survivability, as we see Heroics be picked up by Tempo Storm. And all as we would expect, except June is also holding his Heroic on Rhaegar.
I mean, maybe there's something happening in scrims, I don't know, but there's going to be the interrupt at the last second on Figgy. Nature's Cure used, allowing him to go ahead and teleport on out. Fan under assault. Fury actually has done very well making use of that, give him the axe at level 7 for that bonus auto attack damage, so the pressure is on. That's actually going to force Fan. He already used his well tap, ended up having a hearth to get back into the battle, forcing Glaurung to rotate up here to the top lane.
It is important to note that LFM, the one map they have been able to win, that they won versus Octalis, is their very first game of HGC this phase was on Dragonshire. And though this is a Tempo-favored battleground, and if Tempo can just get one Dragonite, if they can start taking down that bot fort and then get the double camps that we know they love, it'll be a much different story. But getting to that point sometimes is a big hurdle to overcome, and LFM is really making sure that Tempo Storm can't get to that point.
Swab's going to go ahead and use that Divine Steed, hop on out of there. Here comes Fury with the charge again. There's a major stun there. Dragon Arrow's going to hit.
Look at
Fury.
June.
June able to survive for now. The Wave of Force helps bring him back in for the lockdown. Fury forced to use Avatar. Nice Wave of Force again. Going to get the interrupt. And that is major plays by Figgy to confirm both of those kills.
Yeah, Droplets got the snipe to give them the first kill on Rhaegar. That set up Figgy to have the resets. And Figgy's been enjoying his mage play. He will take every chance he gets for some resets, getting the double kill there. Now Tempo Storm needs to keep a hold of this top lane. Ardent Defender has to be used by Swabs, who wants to go after Fan. Muradin is coming up. Can they stall him out? He does with the hammer. Now he has to use the Gust.
Yeah,
he's in a lot of trouble.
The flight should be available in about 5 or 6 seconds. See if they can get over there and get the interrupt. Figgy does have Wave of Force. That's going to be enough to confirm another kill. 7-0. Bunker used here to try and keep him alive. Glaurung going to eat a hammer. Hop back into the bunker. Figgy and team are here.
Johanna's dying in the bottom too. LFM are everywhere, taking out Tempo Storm. This is staggered death after staggered death. Now they find it. Glaurung hit him with the Storm Bolt, hit him with the hammer, and take him down. LFM, where has this team been?
Clearly, all that's needed is a couple of hammers to win a game. It's not the Sergeant. It's a battle of hammers. They have 2. Tempo has, well, they have a hammering.
That's all. Most hammers.
Although
that's what it is.
Johanna at 13, if could have, you know, hammer, good old hammered in action.
That's the couple of them too, as they spin around. So that would, numbers wise.
I miss my hammered in Diablo 2. I know you were a big fan.
I know what you're talking about. Well, the hammer's coming
Here
fast and hard toward Tempo Storm. There's going to be a cleanse. Swabs comes in too. Can knock back Johanna. Those roots are zoning. Ancestral healing had to be used now too.
Glauron gets the boot. We're going to see the salvo out. Tranquility out as well. Here comes the Mighty Gus. We've got a big team fight. Tempo Storm looking to get the takedowns. Ice Block's going to save Aware for the moment. We see Hanzo the first to fall. Vin gets the boot. Fan, he's on the backside. He's going to go down. Avatar's been used. Li Ming, just a few seconds left on this DK. Could potentially come out and start popping off as well.
Yeah, she's wanted to stay inside here, but if they can get resets for Figgy, they could make this a lot better for LFM after losing the 2-for-1. June seems the most likely target, but they're low enough now. Ardent Defender's going to be used. Figgy's starting to be chased down by Glowering. Fury just wants to get him out of there. Good wave of force will do just that.
Swap's like, yeah, I'm gone. See ya. Figgy and team, they're going to get a little bit of damage in here. Fury is healed back up. Second win and a well tap, I believe, might have been in there, but he's ready to go.
Yeah, and this is closer to the base of LFM. They're looking to come in and get something done here. They had Dragon's Arrow if they wanted to try to hit a lot of Tempo Storm while they were on the camp, but they will.
LFM's got to go bot, Gilly. LFM's got, they have 16 tier advantage. They could not afford this double. This is the Tempo Storm special. You have to know this.
Well, all that happens, we're going to take another look at that because that was an epic gust. You do see the ice block, but being able to get the kill on Droplets to kick that off as the kick throws Vin into perfect position to try to put some damage in. But LFM, they still were able to get the right amount of kills so that they could hang in there and try to contest some more.
Still see the action coming in there as we get back to the main screen. But again, there's that double camp on the race towards 20. Definitely makes this a lot more appealing. Dragon Arrow is going to be a whiff. Fury going in deep there. There's going to be the Bless Shield used. Cleanse used on Glaurung as well. He's getting knocked around. Ancestral comes in right as the bunker goes down. Glaurung is under assault here. The salvo is out. Glaurung surviving for now, but not much longer. Fury Dwarf tosses in. So does Swabs. But no more kills.
Insane body blocking by Fury and Swab. So he came out of the bunker. Couldn't really jet propulsion anywhere to try to get away other than closer to LFM. LFM also have this push in the top lane. They made it through the double camp pressure, but I agree with you. I think the only reason why they were able to make that work is because they had 16 ahead of Tempo Storm enough, so they were able to get that. They wanted to get more. Not being able to steal that camp, they'll content themselves with another Dragon Knight.
This is a really, really big moment for LFM and their decision making because they need to get structure value out of this, and it's got to be in the form of keep walls. Going top 4 at this point, not enough experience. This is about getting the race towards 20. It's not necessarily to try and end the game. It's way too early to do that. It's about getting structure value in the form. I would not be surprised if they go double keep wall here. I would be 100% okay with that. The fact that it's leaning in here means that they are missing a lot of their siege damage. Hanzo doesn't have a lot. The rest of the team, not so much.
It's also a lot of their volatility in fights, and I'm really worried about a gust again happening the same way it did before. They're starting to back off. They know that this is a possibility as Falstad has left that top lane. He's just going the mid to soak, knowing that his presence alone or his movements are enough to scare away LFM from getting anything more with that Dragon Knight.
I don't want to say it was bad decision making. I think the opportunity presented itself. Yrel would have had to have a long rotate. They weren't sure if it was going to be defended.
Right, sometimes
so they
you can't help it.
But when it's probably your best siege damage involved in that, it's going to be tough. And getting double keep wall, I think, would have been enough there. This lead looks almost exactly the same. And this is now Tempo Storm recognizing that camp up at the top warranted a defense. And they're going to get a little bit of sieging pressure themselves. But if you look at the mini-map, Muradin and Yrel trying to get the flank there between Fury and Swaps.
It's tough too without Twilight Dream, because if you can scare a Falstad away from wanting to fly in the same way, if you have a Twilight Dream to silence him before he can gust your team, but not having that, at the very least they have Tranquility to try to stand under and heal through, but the last gust was so impactful for Tempo Storm that it makes sieging tricky for LFM.
Scatter arrow going out. A little bit of damage. Siege Giants picked up here on each respective side. The experience still very much in favor of LFM, Gilly, in that they have an opportunity to just fall back, defend, play the 20 tier, and see if they can maybe get another DK, start to look towards those keeps. The global is going to be on the side of Tempo Storm, and that's something that they know very well how to play around. It's actually something that's been used against them on this very map by No Tomorrow.
Tempo are hanging around in the bottom. That camp's going to be available soon. Stormbolt from the side.
Bunker used.
Continues to be the target. He'll jet propulsion out. Still had Gust if they really need to. Fury has been consistent in these Stormbolts. The Gust used, Gust away the rest of the team, so there's no follow-up behind that.
Take a look and see how long. Bottom siege camp, I think, is coming up. Yeah, right. I was like, I wonder what the timer is on this one. There's no way you can get that up. This, this is something that LFM, again, they're going to have to deal with pressure in other lanes, but if they wanted to siege up, that's something they could do. But Tempo Storm, seeing that, they're actually going to come up and steal a camp of their own. See if this gets recognized.
Big wave top 2 to help soak up. That's going to send that experience bar up quite a lot faster. Fury dives into the point on time.
LFM, their recognition right now, I am
mad impressed.
This is much better than I would have anticipated at this point in the game. And again, I think a lot of it is the experience of Fury, knowing this and learning on the fly, going back to past moments where he's been involved in this very same situation.
Double bruiser camp, one in the top, one in the bottom. Bottom being responded to by Vin here. That allows for both of the shrines. Johanna's in position, but 20 is getting close.
Again, the threat of 20.
Knockback.
This should be another DK.
All right, LFM didn't get very much done with the last one. This time, Hanzo is inside. So you lose out on Dragon's Arrow to stop if Tempo Storm aggresses too hard, but with 20 not being there, LFM are ready to get the siege going. They're ready to take down a keep and possibly be able to take a game off of Tempo Storm.
Keep minimum. There is nothing you can do other than get keep. There's going to be Glaurung under assault. Bunker used. Johanna and Blaze are in there. Blaze, the bunker is pop. Ancestral is going to be used. The damage coming out. The DK already down below 50%. Tranquility is there. Does not heal up the DK, but it will keep the team alive during the salvo.
Yes, it does. They're staying pretty healthy as the keep falls. This Dragon Knight almost spent, but LFM have done it. They get a keep down. Now they just have to contend with a possible epic mount from Tempo Storm, but they do what they need to get some catapults, and they may try to turn around, look at that top fort potentially, or get a setup for the camps once this thing falls.
Well, they have the 20, they have the advantage. They do not, however, have the global. So late game decision making, we've seen Tempo Storm in similar situations. Their late game decision making is impeccable, especially on this battleground. 20 picked up now by Tempo Storm. Siege camps will be available, it appears, when this DK does go down. We'll see the timing on camps are going to be very important for both of these teams.
J-How, Unconquered Spirit, Indestructible, and the Fortified Bunker are going to make it a lot harder now for LFM to get resets from that Li Ming. This is a whole different ballgame. Potentially Wind Tunnel too for Falstad, and we do see that Farseer's Blessing, the changeup that we saw from Tiger JK, I believe, last week.
Getting that AoE Ancestral. It's pretty impactful when it hits. I mean, you see a bunch of health bars go up and you're like, okay, that's not too shabby. We'll see how that goes in, especially with some of the other options. And level 20 Lunar Shower now coupling with that level 1 talent that gets you the extra auto attack damage. Now you got Lunar Shower, Gilly.
Battle Owl.
Yeah, full on.
Still considering for fans Falstad. You know, it's hard to play versus a lot of globals on Dragonshire just because he can make your life miserable even if you get a pick trying to get both of the shrines, but having a keep down is so much nicer because there's always the possibility that that global has to be used to defend the catapults versus being able to create opportunities for your opponent's team. But Tempo Storm has been keeping a lot of presence down in the bottom lane. It's where Tempo Storm feels most at home on Dragonshire anyway, but it also allots them time to keep those catapults at bay so they don't get into any tricky situations.
I think that bottom night camp will be spawning any moment. So the response, we do have Hanzo in the top lane for now.
Yes.
So 2 seconds away, and that will be coming up now. That means that the camp at the top left will also be available soon because those were captured just moments apart from each other previously when we saw LFM go up and defend that area. Fury comes in, getting the hammer down. We've got Urel and Blaze just kind of hanging out. Fury hops over, lending a little bit of assistance, but they got to be careful because Cattle is counter-engaging here in the top.
Trying to see if they can force the bunker between the two frontliners of LFM. Swabs responds to keep the backline of LFM safe. Falstad, the only one not here at the party yet. Expected to be so. That was a warp interrupted. He still has Unconquered Spirit.
Kettle ended up using Blessed Shield as well, and now Droplets under assault in the back.
Uses Natural Agility out. Aware's going to start Tranquility, and we see the Ancestral Healing too, so a lot of the defensive measures have been burned.
We'll see Swabs again on the front line. Here's the Dragons are hitting on multiple people. Biggie goes in, trying to do the damage. Hasn't got the reset yet. Continuous wins for the disengage.
Wind Tunnel does disengage them, but Tempo Storm have to back off now, and this gives the bot lane control and the camp over to LFM. J-How, they are making a case for themselves this game.
This is generally where teams that are experienced at this, they know how to close this map out. It is a difficult map to manipulate, and right now LFM seemingly has a lot of the right answers. They are by no means done yet, but they're making a lot of the right calls. Scatter Arrow goes out, Glaurung and Cattle on the front line trying to make something happen. In comes Fury.
Fury comes in for a second time, this time on Fan. Glaurung has the bunker, drops it down. Fury separated out from the rest of the team. Used the Avatar though, and he's staying healthy as the front line is strong. Glaurung knocked back. LFM so desperate to get a kill, but an Arsenal synergy blows up Muradin.
That was such a clutch auto attack, and you could just see it chase him out. Swabs is going to be dismounted. Urel trying to survive, but Cattle and team looks like they might have enough. Cattle finally gets the takedown, then somehow survives here in the bottom. Biggie comes in somehow. Juking and driving. Hanzo used play of the game. He is going after it. Scatter Arrow just missed the wall, I believe, there.
Li Ming goes down, unfortunately, for LFM, as they were all in trying to get that kill on Falstad. And with the wind tunnel, he doesn't even go back. Instead, he goes forward to the shrine. Glaurung chasing after Droplets, getting a kill here. This scatter death would be huge. Even burning the bunker to see if he can get it. Droplets and the Aware still here, but 3 people down. A Dragon Knight for Tempo Storm, and we're at 22 minutes into this game as it's barreling down.
It's closing time. This is Tempo Storm. This is what they do. This is what they know. They're going to go ahead and sidewall this potentially. Actually, it looks like they're going to go ahead and blow through at least one tower, get through this DK. Hits so hard that they're just going to go for everything. Allow the minions to stack up. Allow themselves to work their way through. As Glaurung continuing to make an area untouchable. Fury goes forward. DK still at 80% health, and that keep falling rapidly.
16 seconds, 13 now until Li Ming's back. The Dragon Knight about halfway down in health, and LFM dive past. It's Johanna inside the Dragon Knight. Wind Tunnel pushes back LFM, and that gives so much space for Tempo Storm to work down the core of LFM. LFM seem to have all the answers here, but with one fight, Tempo Storm opens up this game in their favor, and they close it down.
Just imagine if that scatter play of the game was used. That scatter arrow, I believe it was there. I saw the animation, was just short of that wall. Would have had the proper angle to get the Falstad takedown, but Droplets played very, very well that game. As you can see, 87,000 damage, 5 kills, and then the kills were definitely in favor of LFM. But the very last fight sometimes is all it takes, and that DK 22 minutes in just ripped apart those structures.
Yeah, and a wind tunnel there too. A lot of very good gusts, even the gust that made sieging from LFM think twice at the very least. It took a couple of Dragon Knights, whereas maybe with one you would feel comfortable going in and at least getting some keep damage done. One of them not happy about that at all, just because of the threat of Falstad alone. But getting the first keep, it seemed almost inevitable that LFM would be able to win that game, and that, there's no doubt about it, that has to be a disheartening loss for them.
It hurts. I think when we see teams like LFM, like No Tomorrow, they fight some of the top teams very, very well. LFM in particular, it's just a matter of, I said it and I almost feel like I jinxed them, closing out games on Dragonshire is incredibly tough. Global's on the other side, you have the lane control, but they stuck around, and those are things where you'll see teams like Tempo Storm. They'll just go back up. They'll grab their bruisers, which were available for LFM, concede the bottom point, rotate up, take the top. You have catapults. Eventually, those will push out the bottom. Bruiser camps, you got to be responded to. You can force the rotations. You can force the action. Instead, Tempo Storm held their ground. They forced the action, and LFM responded to. So those are moments they'll be able to learn from, but not taking advantage of the catapults in the camp they had available, I think, are definitely a little bit detrimental to the success. The team fight could have gone either way, but Tempo Storm, they're tough.
And in Tempo's instance, too, having Fan in the mid lane for so long until LFM felt the pressure, the panic to start the fight so that they could get something out of those catapults. Ultimately, that's where Tempo Storm ended. So using that global and finding opportunities for themselves to finish up a game that was tough for them. But either way, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll see if LFM can bring the fight again and get a win over Tempo, or if Tempo will send it home.